I guess it's cold weather for me. I'm from California, but I'm glad to see a lively group. I am Bruce Wooden, Head of Developer Relations for AltspaceVR, which I'll be telling you about in just a sec. A lot of you might know me as Cymatic Bruce, VR evangelist, co-founder of Silicon Valley Virtual Reality Meetup, and also behind the expo and holiday party and a bunch of stuff there, as well as a contributor to Road to VR, the #1 VR news site. So I'm definitely a busy bee when it comes to virtual reality. Been in the community a long time. So it's great to be able to travel the country and meet other folks that are super enthusiastic about this disruptive technology that's coming forward, which is great. So AltspaceVR is a social VR platform. Social in the let's hang out in the same space and have a good time way, not social in the social media way. So basically, just kind of the highlights here. We are based in Redwood City, California, a little south of San Francisco, about 15 employees with a few contractors. Just closed on $5.2 million in seed funding not too long ago for the first round. And we have been rocking and rolling. The demo that you'll see today that we set up around the room is about 6 months old. And the team is working hard, and I'm really happy to be able to show it off to you guys today. The company itself was founded in January 2013, but really its current form is really the beginning of this year. And we're trying to build the best social VR software we can, meaning being in the same space, emotionally connected with other people that are in that virtual space and enjoying your company together. So all of these logos are involved in our funding. Some of them are also behind Oculus and Venture, Dolby family, Formation 8, so good times, good stuff. So there's a few things that we're trying to do with Altspace. One is the connection. That's from the ground up, the way we build the spaces, the size of them, how they look, where things are positioned, the positional sound, and the audio, volume attenuation goes into that, design of the avatar. As you can see, the first pass of the avatar is kind of abstract, not humanoid. We do not represent what we do not track. There are no arms, there are no hands, because we don't have that tracking instituted yet. Photorealistic stuff is creepy, so we're going away from that, a little abstract, so you can make an emotional connection, but still have that avatar driven by all of the motion of a human being, so you know that's another person on the other end. An example of that was in this past close test. This was something that happened. It was kind of spontaneous. We'll check it out. Here's the screen here. You can float outside. So now the music's going. This is the point where everyone, let's all get into lines, please. We're going to have our meditation talk, okay? So let's all arrange ourselves and arrange yourselves properly. Make sure you have arm's width between every person. Although you have no arms, I'm sure you can make do. This is all spontaneous, kind of spur of the moment. Yes. I want to see what would happen if I just didn't try to connect. Everyone will look to the sky, stretch up, yes, stretch, feel the stretchiness, yes, now look all the way down. now feel stretch all the way to your left, yeah, just lean your body to the left, lean, yes, lean, yes. Take it the other way, lean to the right, yes, very good. Very good. Yes, now I need you to roll your head. Just roll it. Just relax. There is no space but the alt space. It is that's a little too much rolling over there. Who's rolling their head into their torso? That's too much. So, what you saw there were avatars where all of the rotational tracking and positional tracking is accounted for in that avatar. So we have, lean to the side, you lean in. If you start doing a little ditty, we can kind of see that. One of the interesting things with the French folks that were in our closed tests, that they're like, oh, bonjour, mwah, mwah. So you see two avatars kind of going in on each other like that. It's all contributing to making a social connection with people that are in the same space with you. So that is an important part of what we've tried to establish with AltspaceVR. Making sure that you feel there's another person or persons that are in the same virtual space with you. Next, once we establish this connection, once we get this, all right, there's other people here, but now what do? We normally, in real life, social experiences are based around an event of some kind, right? You go out to a game, you go out to the movies, you play a board game, whatever. We're starting with the 2D web in AltspaceVR as a way to share that content. So you have your own private browser, you can bring that up, it's Chromium that's within VR. You can browse to your heart's content, it's fully functional there. So you can enjoy that in your own private space, only you can see. But what's very interesting about what we've done is to make it a shared experience where you have a funny YouTube video, it's feeling pretty good, like, oh man, everyone in the room should see this. So with one click, you send it out to a big screen that everyone can see, and it's synchronized at the same time. So when that cat falls off the shelf in the video, everyone laughs at the same time in the virtual space. Again, contributing to the feeling of being in the same social space with people, enjoying that time with them synchronized, right? Very, very important. The last kind of big chunk of what we're trying to do, which is a little farther out for us in particular, but we have some successful prototypes already, is to empower web developers specifically to create VR experiences using our platform. So we're starting as an app right now, but we want to move to a platform that enables WebGL, 3JS, JavaScript, essentially the 3D parts of the web, to be fulfilled in VR space. What I mean by that is that right now you can go to a web page where developers made this web page and they have a model of a house and it's 3D, it's WebGL, but that's still on a 2D web page, yeah? In AltspaceVR, what we're doing is you go to that same web page in AltspaceVR, the developer makes a few lines of changes on their end, tapping into our JavaScript API. And then you click a button and that house appears behind you in VR and you can start exploring it, yeah? To kind of give you an example of, not where I want to go. Give an example of what I mean. We have this example with the planets and the sun is from 3JS. And let me just kind of pull it up here. Really? An ad? Really? Are we doing this now? YouTube! All right, here we go.
Thanks, Carl. We used to say about.
All right, so this is a software reveal that we did at Silicon Valley Virtual Reality in September.
And so I'm going to ask that maybe Bruce show us while I talk about how we think we can build things for VR. And this is actually first clip at our API, so lots of firsts today. And so I'm going to show you a little bit about the AltspaceVR API. So I'm going to talk you through what's happening here as Bruce does it. So he pulled up his personal display again. You see he's got a bunch of links up there you can click. He's going to click that one of the planets up there. And so what's loading right here, which you'll see in a second, is, okay, this is a 3JS scene. We talked about 3JS earlier. This is a 3JS scene of objects floating around the sun. Okay, so planets floating, orbiting the sun. It's happening in 3D. Things are moving around. It's all happening in that browser window. Okay, so 3JS JavaScript running in the browser. Right? So when Bruce turns around, he closes the virtual display. What he'll see is he sees those planets in VR. Okay, and so let me walk you through exactly what happened there. Okay, so you've got JavaScript running in the browser. Okay, you've got our API. You've got slight change in code that we'll talk about in a second, and then you've got that exact same scene in virtual reality. That slight change to the code is the.
There we go. So you could, if you kind of extrapolate this out, this could be as simple as going to a web page and you click and a puppy pops out and runs around your legs, or it could be as involved as you click on a web page and it spawns an entire world for you to explore. And all of the behaviors of those spawned items are obeying the JavaScript and the code from the web page. So in that way, we can even have people customize their spaces by pulling stuff from the web, both in 3D and 2D, put an animated GIF on the wall for your painting, like this OBJ from the Louvre. We're going to put it there, and all we're keeping is a URL and a position. Right? So it's a lot of interesting use cases that can come out of pulling that 3D content into actual 3D objects you can interact with within VR, which we're very, very excited about. So that's the three major components: connect, share, and build. And of course, we're working really hard on the connect and share portions. That's part of the demo that you'll see today here for AltspaceVR. And just before we kind of, break into demos or go to the next thing, I did want to quickly give you a little tour of what AltspaceVR is at its current time and how to get around and all that good stuff. And the engineering team is so busy, you got another update for me right now. So that is happening. We're just really rocking and rolling. It's absolutely ridiculous. So in addition to working for VR, we have AltspaceVR working with a 2D client. Because again, our goal is to facilitate connection as much as possible. We want people to be able to connect online through VR in the most natural and fulfilling way possible. That's really what we're about, what our goal is, and doing that in the really most pragmatic way. So we realize there's going to be a lot of people without VR headsets that might want to enjoy this, so we're going to provide that experience for them, and we're going to look at other input types as well. We've started on the keyboard and the mouse. We haven't even really fully fleshed out our gamepad support yet, because we really want to get the locomotion with the mouse and the keyboard just right. See, it's loading up the 2D clients. And there we go. Who is that? Amber. What are you doing? All right. So that's the name tag solution. You put your mouse over someone and their name will pop up, and then it'll graciously go away when you don't need it. So this is kind of our welcome space here. We have a public display. That's a shared display there. And we have a few ways to get around. So most of what we're doing here is focused completely on the mouse in these demos. We can move the mouse around. Whenever it's blue, I can click, do a regular click, and evidently I exit the program. What? Mouse? Why? So the mouse was not locked to the program, that's an issue. So now we'll put it back up real quick. So we have a teleport functionality. So you click and you go to whatever spot your mouse cursor is, whatever it's looking at. So that is something that we're very proud of and that keep people very, very comfortable in VR. One of the things that makes people uncomfortable the quickest when you talk about sim sickness is the locomotion, especially backwards, side to side, and turning. Huge problems with that, especially when you're using an abstract input source that's imprecise like a gamepad. That is really one of those things that makes people really uncomfortable. So I'm holding the regular click down here, and I can move my mouse around and I can see where I'm about to go. So I want to be on top of the table, that kind of party, and here we go. I'm on top of the table now in that spot. Now I have a scroll wheel. It doesn't do anything if I just use it regularly, but I can nudge it to the left and right, and that turns my body. So I can turn my body by nudging this scroll wheel to the left and right here. Who is this? Don't know. Mysteries. All right, very good. So there's over there, it's fine. The last functionality I have there, I can right click, it brings up the UI. And in that UI, I can choose a couple things here. I can choose to reset the HMD on the very left. Browse will bring up some web browsers here. Since I can't turn my head, I have to get all the way to the client. So I have a couple browsers that are around me. These are fully functional web browsers. If I say I want to go to YouTube, and this is Oculus Connect, this is a keynote live stream, and there it is. It's running. and I can select this button. Looks like a little Wi-Fi signal. I click on that once, that's send it to the public display, and everyone in this room would be seeing that on the screen. So that, and there we go. So it's like a one-click actual sharing, not in the social media way where you just put something, maybe 2 days someone checks it out, but actually sharing in real time. There was a cool thing that ended up happening in the closed test where there was 3 or 4 of us late at night. We were talking about the VR rigs we want to build. And so while we were talking, we were all in AltspaceVR, different parts of the country, and throwing up Newegg pages and throwing up Amazon pages and talking about the specs and the prices of these different components. And one of us left $2,000 poor after that conversation. But it was really cool to be able to have this huge big screen, people from all over having a really cool conversation going back and forth about the VR components, video cards, or whatever that we want to get, which is pretty neat. So for the purpose of this demo, oh, that is odd. I wonder why that's going on. I'm not able to see. So normally you'd have a bunch of spaces that you'd be able to kind of see and check out, but unfortunately, I am not able to see those here. But you will be in the video space. For the purposes of this demo, I ask that you not leave that space so you can interact with other people that will be there. Or if you leave, at least come back for the next person that goes in. So they're in the video space here. This is like our welcome space. There's a video space, but looks like this is a little bug that happens from time to time where it won't show some of the things from the UI, which is a little bit of a pain. But that is AltspaceVR, there it is. So I thank you very much for allowing me to present it. So thank you so much, appreciate it. Hi, I'm Bruce.
I'm Kevin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Kevin. Welcome to AltspaceVR demo. This is what we're going to do. You'll be getting the headset on first, the VR headset, and then the audio headset. You'll be able to talk in a normal volume. Everyone should be able to hear you. Controls are on the mouse. When you move the mouse around, you'll see a cursor flick around the environment. When it goes blue, you'll be able to click and teleport to that spot. You can also hold the regular click down and get a preview of where you're going to go to. To turn your body, it's just using the scroll wheel. It's actually nudging the scroll wheel to the left and right, so that should work for you okay. And then if you want to explore our UI with the browsers and all that good stuff, right click to bring that up. You can reset the HMD, bring up the browsers, and see what that looks like. Cool?
Yes, awesome.
Awesome. So alright, start with the VR headset. I'll get the audio headset on you, and then away you go. Comfortable, looking good?
Yeah, it's looking great.
Alright, and there we go. And the mouse is straight ahead with the right arm. There you go, you're set. Let's go.
So why does he need the mic?
So what he's doing in there actually is there's several other people that are in the environment with him in that virtual space, so he can just talk to them and they can talk to him, and you can hear people based on where they are in the space. So actually in VR, someone can lean in and whisper in your ear and you're like, what the? So that's really crazy too. So all you have to do is say hello, and someone's like, hey, what's up? We have a few people from around the country that are in there, and I think a couple folks that are in our San Francisco office, Redwood City office, actually. So,
Yeah, you have some pretty good movement. You seem to be like striping left and right. How do you do it on the keyboard? The arrow keys?
I do.
Virtual reality realm was very interesting, very neat. I thought it was awesome how it could communicate with others in real time. It could be a new form of business or trade that I look forward to going forward. It's certainly interesting to talk with others, gain perspective of how virtual realm was developed, how it could be improved, perhaps allowing it more of a marketplace for allow others to develop their own rooms or their virtual reality spaces, so others can come in and develop, and then others can have meetings and so forth, and just conduct business or trade in a whole different way.
All right. So did you enjoy it?
Yes, I loved it. It was very interesting. The representative there from AltspaceVR said I should be cautious about moving around because we get dizzy, but I dove right into it and enjoyed moving around as fast as I could with the keyboard and with the mouse.
All right, so thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And what's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin, and do you also work with a company here in Boston?
Yes, I work for a financial services firm.
Ah, all right then. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
What we're doing, and that's trying to find the best, the most natural, the most fulfilling way to have people connect and communicate through virtual reality. We've been using computers as a tool to communicate for a long time. You know, it's like the telephone, smartphones, Skype, and it's always a little bit better, but really the end goal is to be able to communicate with another human being, no matter where they are, and make that connection. And I think that's what we're building from the ground up at AltspaceVR. A natural, accessible, and fulfilling way to communicate online using virtual reality. And why that's special is because VR is such a great medium for not only regular communication, but also nonverbal head motion, what that person is looking at. You can feel like you're making eye contact, which is in not any other medium. A lot of nonverbal communication comes across, which is really awesome. So it's a really enhanced way to communicate with other people online.
Is AltspaceVR for everybody?
I certainly believe AltspaceVR is for everyone. That's we're trying to do VR for everyone. We want it to be accessible. We have our application running on laptops, which is kind of unheard of in the VR space right now. But that's what most people have. Most people aren't gamers with a $2,500 PC. They are looking to get in this VR thing, but not have to plunk down a whole big chunk of change and use what they already have. So definitely we're about that. It's going to be interesting. I mean, undoubtedly it's going to be the gaming space that drives VR for probably the first couple of years of it, but we're definitely planning ahead in that respect, and we want to be ready for when VR is more ubiquitous, where it's all over the place, and we'll be there as your tool to communicate using VR.
Who is the AltspaceVR customer?
Who is the AltspaceVR customer? That is an interesting question. I think we kind of want to say everyone, but I think realistically it's going to start off by being that the 16 to 35-year-old gamer. That's going to be the core person, and so we're doing a lot of work to make sure that AltspaceVR is accessible, but not uncool. I think that's really one of the things that's a very key part of. And whenever you're talking about doing something social in the tech space, whenever you talk about communication in the tech space, you don't really think about cool and hip and really interesting and fun and awesome at the same time, especially for that demographic. So I think what we're trying to build is something that we would like to do as developers and VR enthusiasts ourselves, that we would like to get in and we would hang out in for hours at a time, and not just build something for what we think some other made-up person, I guess, down the line. But we would like grandma to use it, but realistically grandma's probably not going to be using it right away. So yeah, I would say our target is going to be those early adopters, those tech heads that are going to be looking for a way to have some really cool experiences in VR, and we want to be there to give it to them.
Now, my final question is going to be, how can people find you?
Absolutely. On Twitter, if you want to find us, at AltspaceVR, right there, at Cymatic Bruce for me personally, so you can hit me up on any of those channels. You can hit me up via email, bruce@altvr.com. Go to the website altvr.com, sign up for our beta, so you can get the latest info on when we're opening it up and allow you to enjoy and test drive the program, and stress test our servers and break it before we release it. So we'd definitely love to do that. So hit up altvr.com, send me an email, check us out on Twitter, and yeah, keep an eye out. We got some really exciting stuff happening.
Any final words?
Final words? Hey, just a pleasure to be here out in Boston. This is amazing. The hospitality's been fantastic. It's a beautiful space here at the Microsoft Nerd Center, so I think Microsoft as well. But yeah, great reception. Looks like people are enjoying AltSpace here in Boston, so couldn't be happier to come out. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much from Boston VR. We love you. Yeah.